Morning. I am going to try to keep working because I have things to do today. But I wanted to bring up something that, as a result of like the YouTube that I was listening to, um, like the journey of Chase Beckham on American Idol. Like sometimes I like to just almost like listen to the same artist over and over again. Like not over and over again, but like multiple songs instead of uh, like the different auditions and stuff sometimes. And I like American Idol and like the voice and that and what is it, X Factor, because I like watching people in that moment when they realize their dream is a reality. Like they're having that moment of, oh my god, I'm really here. Oh my god, I just got the praise that I never in my wildest dreams thought I would ever get from people that not only do you respect, you idolize. Um, so that's kind of why I watch it. That's like just the backstory of why I watch it. But in his collection of songs that he sang something from, I think, what was it, the Robin Hood, the movie Robin Hood. Everything I do for you, or I don't even remember actually. I don't remember the name of the song. I should have looked that up before I turned this on. But anyway, the reason I'm even turned this on was because, have you ever looked back at like a former relationship and said, "Oh my god, like why was I so hooked in that relationship? Why was I so hooked on that person who clearly made me, play songs like that and made me want them to hear those songs almost as like a plea of, let's stop fighting, or let's see why we're really, you know like when you pick those songs that you feel like you're almost, because of the drama of the relationship, there's songs that reflect that relationship. And I had a relationship where it was like every song that basically said, don't you see, don't you see, and now I look back and I think to myself, I'm so grateful I don't have songs in my life that I attach to like that song, that I want the other person to hear that song as like a plea to let's stop fighting, or don't you see, we're worth fighting for, or whatever. Like I don't have those relationships anymore. My marriage is, I think we've probably had two fights in 10 years, um, and not even fights, like just maybe loud disagreements, but not fights. And I'm like, wow, I had such dramatic relationships in my life. And I'm like, I look back now on that individual who, the day I came back from visiting my family, so I was gone for a weekend, I think. And I came back from visiting my family, and there was a knock at the door, and it was a young lady. And I don't know, either she pretended to be encyclopedia salesperson, or that's what he told me she was. So, you know, she knocked at the door and asked for my significant other. And I watched him out the window because I was just kind of curious, because body language tells you everything. So I was kind of curious what the connection was with this girl. And he spent a lot of time as she and he talked with his head kind of pointed down. And he was like tracing the line between the two concrete slabs of the sidewalk, kind of like pushing a rock around, on the pavement or on the concrete, and just kind of just, like, talking with his feet, so to speak. And you could tell that that's the I'm sorry, but conversation, I'm sorry, but she's back and we're going to try to work it out. And really sorry, you can't come by here anymore or whatever. It was that kind of conversation. So I picked up on that right away, like, okay. And ironically, that weekend, he took her to that movie. So it's ironic that that song would be a song that I would ever have thrown in um, my mix of songs to say, aren't we worth fighting for? And now I look back and I see the person as if seeing him on the street for the first time, with some detail of what kind of person he ended up being. And I think to myself, and I'm kind of hoping this is like a way people could kind of recover from bad relationships. I think to myself, how in the world was I hung up on that guy? How in the world was that guy somebody I wanted to work things out with? And then even go as far as saying, he's so not worthy of me. Like, the loyalty and the dedication and the faithfulness that I was willing to provide in that relationship was so dishonored. And I look at that person now and think, wow, first of all, how in the world was I hung up on that person anyway? And dude, you were so not worthy of me. Like, I'm so out of your league, and it's kind of cool to get to that point to where you're like, that person wasn't even worthy of you. That person was so not worthy of you. That person should have been honored to have been seen with you. That person should have been your equal and should have felt honored to have you as their friend, and never have felt like they could treat you the way they treated you. And it wasn't that guy. I've had quite a few guys that really did believe that, monogamy wasn't a real thing. So I came to the conclusion one day, I think maybe it was Gwyneth Paltrow who had been cheated on, and it was public. And then I think Angelina Jolie, Julia Roberts, like people who've been cheated on, that you would look at and say, any guy that gets her would be an idiot to lose her. Like that would be like an honor for them to get her, even no matter who it was, Brad Pitt, I don't care. To have cheated on her would seem like, so far fetched. But when I realized that even those women who you might have put on a pedestal because of their fame or beauty or status in the social atmosphere, even those women are being cheated on. So, you kind of have that moment of, what in the world would make you think you're safe from that kind of treatment if even the people that you think would be, somebody's dream come true to get to be with is being cheated on? And that's a falsehood anyway, just so you know. Like, I don't idolize anybody, but it was kind of that way of thinking, like, if even Julia Roberts will get cheated on, even Angelina Jolie will get cheated on, what the hell makes me think I'm so special that somebody wouldn't cheat on me? And that actually helped. I know it sounds stupid, but that actually helped the decision to just move forward past those guys, and be like, all right, well, that was another guy who just didn't believe in monogamy. And I'm going to say, I can think of maybe 2 guys in my past that I don't know for sure didn't cheat on me. That I don't know for sure. But I even remember one guy told me way back early that if a guy wants to cheat on you, you can watch him like a hawk. And if he wants to cheat on you, he's going to find a way. And that guy, oh my God, I can't even, I don't even think on 2 hands list the number of girls he hooked up with while he was with me. And, when he hooked up with one of the girls, and that was the final factor, that was, the end. I said to myself, oh, don't worry. Don't be jealous of her. Don't be jealous she got him. He's going to do it to her too, And I think he found a way to kind of like turn them as a couple into swingers. So like he kind of got both things. So then when I realized that might be what they were doing, I was like, okay, he's going to get his. He's going to get his. She's going to decide one of the guys of one of the couples that they're swinging with is the guy she'd really rather be with than him, and he's going to get his. And I believe in karma. I believe in things coming around, and yes, he got his. Now, I mean, his life is good now, and I'm happy for him. I don't have any ill feelings. I did. Whew, did I ever? But I don't have any now. I'm friends with them, and I'm watching, his little girl grow up, and I'm thinking, that's the life you were supposed to have. And the life that I have right now, and it makes it easier too to let go, is the life I have now. That I wouldn't be living this life. I'd be living the life of carrying, something for him. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be living I wouldn't be living my own life. I would be living a life of maybe service to that person's life, being a part of that person's life instead of having my own life. And I'm, honestly, I'm grateful I'm not in that either. So sometimes when you look at, God, that was something I was really, really hung up on. I was really, really hung up on that. And there were a lot of songs that were like breakup songs and get back together songs and pleading to, clear the clouds songs and things like that. And I'm thinking, so grateful I don't have that anymore in my life. Like, I don't attach myself to any sad songs anymore in my life. And it is an awesome feeling. So if you're in a relationship where you're attaching yourself to sad songs and almost like begging to stay songs or begging them to come back songs, you might be being given an opportunity to change where you're going in your life. And there might be a time that you'll look back and go, wow, had I stayed there, I wouldn't be where I am now. Had I not had that end, however it ended, whether they ended it, you ended it, they ended it through indiscretion, whatever, however that relationship ended, if you can look back now and say, thank God, thank God that ended. Thank God, because I wouldn't be where I am today. There's no way. I know for a fact there's no way I'd be standing where I am right now. No way. Not in any former relationship. No way. So just kind of think of them as stops, not stays, until you find the one that you want to stay with. And one that doesn't want to stay with you isn't one you should want to stay with. And one that wants you with a little something on the side isn't anybody you want to stay with either. Like, lucky for me, I'd been alone. I had chosen, after my last really bad relationship, I had chosen, I want to focus on my business. I don't want to be tied down to anybody. I don't want to feel guilty for the time investment that I'm going to be making in my business. I don't want to feel guilty. And that was really a huge decision I made. And I made that for 5 years before I met my husband. And when I met my husband, it was because I was ready to. And, but sometimes, and I always tell my girlfriends, like, try alone, not looking. You know what I mean? Like, try alone, not looking. Like, don't just be like, okay, I'm going to be alone, but I wonder if he's the one, as you watch a man walk past you. No. Alone and not looking. Like, you can appreciate the beauty of that man that just walked past you, but you're not wondering if he's married. You're not wondering if he has a girlfriend. You're not wondering if you chased him, down the road, would he give you his phone number? You're not wondering any of that. You're just noticing he's an attractive man, and you just move on. I spent 5 years deliberately alone, not looking. And the best thing I ever did for myself. I always believed I knew myself, and I still believe that there wasn't really much of who I was that I didn't know in that 5 years, that I didn't learn in that 5 years, but I did become very solid in who I was in the 5 years alone. And I would recommend 1,000,000% that people spend that alone time, and especially girlfriends that are dramatically, talking about a bad date or talking about how lonely they are or whatever. You're not going to find the right guy thinking about all the things that suck, or that sucked about previous relationships, or that suck about being alone right now. You're going to just keep attracting sucky things. Enjoy being by yourself. Enjoy coming into your apartment alone, putting your keys where you know you'll find them in the morning, kicking back on your couch without your bra on and not caring. Like things that maybe you cared about when you were trying to impress. Things that aren't. Do things now that are the real you, so that way when somebody comes into your life, it's because they're going to love the real you, and be so comfortable in the real you before you find somebody else. Most valuable thing I ever did for myself was the alone time, and it does give you that opportunity to just look back. Like, I'm listening to this song, and that's why I prompted this video. Is there was a time when that song would come on the radio, and I would either call. No, cell phones weren't a big thing yet. Actually, I wouldn't call. We had a two-way radio in our vehicles, the company that I worked for, and I would like call out on this two-way radio, the radio station, for him to turn on, and it would be that song, and I'd be like, hoping that he turned it on, even if he just turned it on to hear what song it was, and then turned it back off because he couldn't be bothered. I don't know, and I don't care, but I was like a daily or multiple time in the day occurrence of, listen to this song, don't you see? And to have it have been the song that was like one of the main songs of the movie he took her to is insane. The insanity that we even live is crazy. And look back now and be like, dude, you are so not worthy of me. You would have dragged my ass around. You were so not worthy of me. Like, you've gone nowhere in your life, and I would have gone nowhere with you. And then even the relationship where there's a lot of success and there's a lot of happiness, I'm certain that relationship would have never brought me where I am today either. And I wouldn't want to be where that young lady is. I wouldn't want to be the one that's either being left at home with my child while he runs off and parties and has a good time doing what he's doing. And his life hasn't changed, but you know what I mean? There's been evolution of, grander versions of his life. He's been constantly climbing. And I don't wish for a fall. The fall I wanted was the girl he left me for to leave him. That's what I wanted. And it happened. So yay, uh, but other than that, I don't wish any ill now. And I'm happy for him that his life is looking so fantastic on social media. And I know for a fact that what he's doing in his life and what is bringing him such joy and passion, I wouldn't want to be a part of. And if I had a small child at home, I wouldn't want to be the one that has to not go, because, I know what he was like. So I know when a few beers come into this situation and opportunity arises. I mean, I watched him make out with a girl right in front of me because he had too much to drink. You know what I mean? And like, whoa, so I know that if opportunity arises, that person doesn't turn stuff like that down. So that I wouldn't want to be her. I wouldn't want to be her because I know him that well. My life would not be what it is today at all. And I'm so, so grateful for anything that happened that changed the course of my life, no matter how painful it was at the time. Wouldn't change it now. Wouldn't change it now, not for a million years. And I like when I come across something that reminds me of heartache, reminds me of drama, reminds me of turmoil. I like having that happen because it helps me stop and go, oh my God, my life is so much better than it was then. Oh my God, so much better. And I can only tell people what I hope happens for them. They got to do it on their own. But if you're in a bad relationship, get out. It doesn't get better. If you're in turmoil about a relationship that's over, enjoy your alone time. Find things that make you happy. Spend time enjoying your alone time. Do you. Do you, and do you while you're not looking. Don't look, because looking keeps you in that state of, I am so lonely. I don't have anybody. Or a state of anger that everybody you meet isn't pleasing you. Everybody you meet isn't making you happy. They're disappointing you. It's like the pickings are slim, blah, blah, blah. They're not. They're really not. You can find somebody out there that matches you. But until you do you, you don't know what matches you. You know what matches the you that's desperately looking for somebody. You know what matches the you that's sad about a previous. You know what matches you in your level of despair. Do you find happiness in you, and you will find the person that matches that you, the you really want to find a match for.